We've got some breaking news. A singer's estate, and it's not Celine Dion, is suing Donald Trump. They had threatened it a couple of days ago. They have just filed a lawsuit. I'm going to bring that to you. It's not a good day for Donald Trump. And it's not a good day for Donald Trump, too, because RFK Jr. endorsed him. Yes, after months and months of saying that RFK Jr. is nothing but MAGA in sheep's clothing and a Kennedy's last name, it has finally happened. RFK Jr. endorsed Donald Trump. Here is what he was saying just 3 months ago. President Trump scanned American workers. He promised to bring back manufacturing, raise wages, fix trade deals, close the carried interest loophole, and help small farmers. But everything President Trump achieved were things the Republican machine wanted. We got a tax cut for Jeff Bezos, deregulation for special interests, and giveaways to agriculture conglomerates. President Trump let the Bush wing of the GOP run all his agencies. His Interior Secretary was an oil and gas lobbyist. His Defense Secretary was a Raytheon lobbyist. His EPA administrator was a coal lobbyist. His HHS Secretary was a pharmaceutical lobbyist. And his Labor Secretary was a lawyer for mega corporations. President Trump's supposed support for farmers, $28 billion, all went to big ag conglomerates. We had the worst rioting and looting this country had seen since the 60s under President Trump. He inflamed racial tensions, didn't keep us safe. Instead of using federal law enforcement to stop rioting, Trump thought it was a good optics to let a Democrat cities burn. That was RFK Jr. just 3 months ago. Here's RFK Jr. now.
Independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. taking the stage with Donald Trump.
I'm very pleased to welcome a man who has been an incredible champion for so many of these values that we all share. And we.
By the way, just look how orange that man looks. He does not look well. He does not look good. Okay, sorry.
Shared him for a long time.
RFK endorsing the former president.
Don't you want a president who's going to protect America's freedoms?
And suspending his own campaign.
We don't agree on everything, but on the values and the issues that bind us together.
Telling supporters he will try to remove his name from the ballot in swing states where he could be a spoiler for Trump. In this extremely tight race, Kennedy's supporters could be a deciding factor. Our latest poll showing him.
So that's entirely untrue. I'm going to tell you why, but just so you know, that's not true.
About 5%. The son of the late U.S. Senator Robert Kennedy and nephew of President John F. Kennedy, RFK was a Democrat himself for most of his life. His sister, Carrie Kennedy, telling our Elizabeth Schulze she loves her brother, but abhors what he did.
Anybody who loves our family, who respects, who work on civil rights, on civil liberties, know that Donald Trump is their enemy.
The Harris campaign reaching out to his voters in a statement saying, for any American out there who's tired of Donald Trump and is looking for a new way forward, ours is a campaign for you. Leaving Chicago, Vice President Kamala Harris sounding confident in her historic acceptance speech, taking on her opponent and arguing hers is the campaign looking to the future.
In many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man. But the consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious.
So if you haven't been following RFK Jr.'s lore, I totally understand. Let me just catch you up a little bit. He ran the primary against Joe Biden last year. He didn't gain any traction in that primary. So then he had a hissy fit and said the DNC was rigging it against him. Entirely not true. There's my dog, really cute. And he instead then ran as an independent. He was getting about 10 to 15% of the vote, but these were voters who weren't really paying attention. They saw the Kennedy name. They knew that they didn't like Joe Biden. They knew they didn't like Trump, and they were just looking for somewhere else to go. But the conventional wisdom was that as voters got to know his extremist positions, he would lose support as he moved forward. And that is actually what happened. And what really ended up happening, which I don't think MAGA or anyone else was really anticipating, was that RFK Jr. then started taking more votes from Trump than he was from the Democrats. The right wing cynically was propping him up through donations. His largest donor was a MAGA billionaire, Tim Mellon, and through media coverage. The only people who would put RFK Jr. on TV were right wing stations. And that's because their wager was that having him out there was going to hurt the Democrats more than Trump. But as soon as it became apparent that RFK Jr. was hurting Trump more than he was hurting the Democrats, RFK Jr. very quickly dropped out. That really sea change happened within the past month when Kamala Harris became the front runner for the nomination. So this is like a sad story because it's really just about a man who never lived up to the expectations for his last name. And he just really was doing anything and everything to have some form of relevancy. And you could even see in this clip, like RFK Jr. is just looking, it does feel like he's just like, what? This is like what it's led to. This is what it's led to. It's sad. But let me just say this, that actually what has happened, polling is coming out and we're going to know more in a week or so, but the polling that has come out has shown that this doesn't really affect the race much at all. Nate Silver, who is famously the person who predicted the 2012 election, has a model that he uses where he takes an aggregate of the polls and he can accurately predict where we are if the election were today. And so he did a version of this poll, and he said it barely made any difference. And let me show you. I'm going to see if we click into this. Okay. So here's the poll. Here is how it was: 48% versus Trump's 43% when RFK was in the race. When he dropped, you can see both Harris and Trump gained a little bit of support, but it was pretty much the same amount of support. So Harris is still leading by 4 points aggregated when Kennedy is not in the race. So honestly, very smartly, Kamala Harris did not even talk to RFK Jr. She didn't even entertain it.
Following my first discussion with President Trump, I tried unsuccessfully to open similar discussions with Vice President Harris. Vice President Harris declined to meet or even to speak with me. Suspending my candidacy.
Trump obviously sought his endorsement, thinking that it would help him. It didn't. Just another sign that they have zero political skills whatsoever, because now Trump has to own the craziness that is RFK Jr. The bear story, the brain worm, the sexual assault allegations, 9/11 conspiracy theories. He said that Jewish people are immune to COVID. Trump now owns all of that. He's fine with that. He wanted RFK Jr.'s endorsement. I think this is a net negative for Trump, and it's a positive for Harris. Okay, so now on to more fun news. Donald Trump, a couple weeks ago, was in trouble for using Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On." And he just yesterday used a song of the Foo Fighters where the Foo Fighters were like, we did not approve this song. So he keeps using music for people that do not approve of it. I don't know why any musician other than like Kid Rock would want their music at a Trump rally, but Isaac Hayes' estate, Isaac Hayes' son, said 10 days ago, Donald Trump, stop using our songs. We are going to sue you. And so they threatened with a lawsuit. I think they were probably willing to settle if they were to just give him some music. If they were just to have given him some money. Obviously, Donald Trump does not do that. And so now Isaac Hayes' estate is out with a lawsuit, and Donald Trump has to appear in court in 10 days if they don't settle. Earl and Martin has exclusive on this that I guess Donald Trump thought Isaac Hayes III was playing around. The Isaac Hayes estate and their attorney have served Donald Trump, and he must show up in court in 10 days, like I said, regarding the unauthorized use of Hayes' music. They're seeking at least $3 million. $3 million. So here is the affidavit of service. And I will tell you this, that Donald Trump is not wanting to deal with this right now. He is sinking in the polls. He has just got endorsed by a crazy person. J.D. Vance is the one getting all the attention because he's the one doing all the interviews. I don't know if you noticed that. I'm going to do another video on that. But J.D. Vance is out there more than Donald Trump. And Donald Trump cannot find his footing. I'm not mad about it, but I'm just saying that they do not need this right now. I'm glad for America this is happening. It's not good for him. So it has been a great week for the Democrats. As you know, I was at the DNC, and Kamala Harris, that poll I showed you, that was before a convention bump. She's definitely going to rise in the polls. Now, of course, she'll rise and she might sink a little bit down, but she is basically sailing towards the debate. Now, we, of course, went through that 3-week period where Joe Biden had the terrible debate. Democrats were trying to get him to drop. Donald Trump had an assassination attempt. So politics, anything can happen. Anything can happen. We do not want to rest on our laurels. And I'm sorry that this video is so long. But I just want to just impart on you that just because it's good right now doesn't mean it's going to be good tomorrow. But we can try to make sure it'll be better tomorrow for Kamala Harris and the Democrats and for America if we do everything, if we do something each day to make sure she wins. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like the video. If you are not subscribed, why don't you just try subscribing? Just hit the button. I think it'll feel good for you. And thank you so much, everyone, for your support as I went to the DNC. I mean, I really was only there because of all of you. So I thought it was just my responsibility to bring as much inside content as I could to the convention, from the convention to you. And so thank you all for tagging along. I'm so sorry this video is so long. It's like a long ass video, but I guess I just had a lot to say. So I hope you like it, and I will see you soon.
I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?